Join Cynthia Varkevisser, the modern day mystic, as she helps you find your relationship's intuitive uniqueness, universal alignment, and a more meaningful connection. You're listening to the Modern Day Mystic Talks Relationships, hosted by Cynthia Varkevisser.
Well, happy Friday, everybody. This is Cynthia Varkevisser, your modern day mystic, and super excited to talk with you as we prepare for Mother's Day. Thought today would be a great day to talk about the mother of all relationships, that with our mom. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't talk about other relationships as you call in, and I'll give you the phone number in just a moment. But what a great time to look back on all the things that we've learned from our moms and the challenges that have been passed on from mother to mother, mother to daughter, to mother to daughter, so as well as and mother to son. So I will be talking about moms and mom experiences. You're also welcome to, and I'll be taking readings along the way, so please feel free to call in. The number is 657-383-0608, and press 1 if you'd like to talk with me, or come on in and chat with us, and you can ask your question in the chat room, and I'm happy to answer your questions from there. So the thing about Mother's Day, what a great time. I love talking to people about Mother's Day. So one time that everyone seems to stop and think about all the things that moms do. And it's not just, the moms that birthed you, but the moms that took care of you in those spaces in between. I myself have a Swami mommy, as well as a lot of female teachers along the way, as well as males in my life that had such amazing feminine energy that I was taught by them in their specific way as well. I would love to hear about your mom experiences. So just call on in. So the way that I was brought up, so my philosophy is that your parents are your original teachers, and they are here to help you express your absolutely unique gifts, and they pass down these incredible challenges, and these challenges can be unique to you, as in it's your life lesson, or it can be a karmic thing. And to me, in my philosophy, karma is something, of course, that is beyond your lifetime. So it can be from your past lives, but I also find that it is doubled up by the lives of those before you. So think about this. There's one of my really good friends who has a huge challenge with anxiety and lives up in her head a lot of the time. And if you ask about her life, you'll find that her mom lives up in her head a lot of the time. And if you go back, her mom lived up in her head a lot of the times. So you can see that as my friend was in the womb, you can bet your bottom dollar that her mom had her anxieties that were about anything, right? Just having her normal day within her reality of anxiety, and it is imprinted on this lovely, beautiful embryo that turns into a fetus that comes out into this wonderful baby, and they have now anxieties. And the difference between my friend's anxieties and her mother's anxieties is because it's imprinted, there's no name to it, which means that she feels anxieties, but there's no experience in order to put her thumbprint on, or a definition around it. And so because and that's what I believe is karma. So because it is karmic, it's very hard to release more than anything else, because it's about trusting that it's really not hers personally, and then just releasing it. Human beings, we as human beings, love to have a definition. We love to have a reason why. We'd love to be able to define something so that we can go ahead and dismiss it. And it's not always like that. Mine happens to be that of guilt and responsibility around the guilt. My mom was a firstborn. My father was a firstborn. Who was then, they were children of let's see, my dad was children of firstborns, and my mom was the daughter of a firstborn daughter, which in Asian culture is a very big deal. So, so if I look back, there's a for some reason, I mean, I know that I was brought up with this responsibility about being the firstborn as well as being the the daughter, but some of it came from my mom and some of it came from her mom. So a lot of the stuff I can actually touch and go, oh yeah, that feels, I remember that experience and I can see where I get the guilt from that. And some things I just don't get. So I'm in the middle of working that too. And that's the beauty of karma. Now, I have two daughters and I love them with all my heart. And so I like to think that I'm working on detaching this karmic lesson so that they will be free and unhindered from at least that piece. You know, heck, I gave them enough stuff to worry about as kids, as from being their mom. That they don't need to have that as well. So I would love to hear your experiences. Just give me a call at 657-383-0608 and press 1 if you'd like to give me a chat. So to move on, if you think about these things, a lot of people when they come to my classes and they ask about readings and how I can help them, the most important thing is that they want to feel relief right away, and that totally makes sense, right? But what happens is as they remove one challenge, it's as you'll always hear, it is an onion, and it peels back and peels back and peels back, and it ends up always coming back to the original teachers, which are your parents. So your mother figure and your father figure. Let's see. So where do I go with this? The reason I'm talking about this is going back to my clients. So what we've been working on is spiritual contracts. And the spiritual contract in my philosophy is the thing that we had signed up to experience, but more importantly to share as a human being. And what happens is that as we enter our human experience, there is something that happens that may in hindsight be traumatic, in hindsight may not. But what it does is it shifts our reality, that of that of the spiritual contract, to an earthly born contract. So what that means is, I have a client whose spiritual contract is to heal through joy, but because of her experience in childhood, and she knew that she was a healer, that she ended up being a healer through pleasing, because she found that through pleasing her parents and keeping the boat from rocking, that she felt like from her very young body and point of view that she was healing her parents. And then she takes that very young thing and moves it on forward. And she is still a healer, but now what's going on is she's feeling the responsibility, and she doesn't feel the joy, and she finds that she's getting very tired. And so what her thing is right now is that she is all about what can I do to up my energy. So although we're working on upping her energy, what's really happening is we're bringing it back to her original experience, and then her spiritual contract, and then the karmic lessons that she learned from her parents along with that. So what I'd like to talk about right now is spiritual contracts and our relationships with our parents. So without going I love my mom, and I know that I've said it many times, but I'm going to go ahead and just say this. I think I'm just going to say it one last time, because with Mother's Day coming up, I feel spiritually that I am coming to the end of sharing this portion of my life with my mom, is that my mom was a really beautiful and inclusive person. And what that meant was her door was always open. She didn't judge people, at least not outside, and would fix a meal for anyone, allowed anybody to sleep on her couch, would always take the other person's side. Now, she was also a Libra, so you can see how it kind of fits in. But she always had this open door policy in a way that I'd never, I just figured everybody did, because that's what I grew up with, and it's a lovely thing. But the other side of it is that if you talk to people who were very close to her and they loved her dearly, is that as much as she gave sound advice and as much as she had an open door policy, nobody felt exclusively loved by her. Now, what this means is not like, you know, my mom loves me, so she can't love my brother, but it's, you know, sometimes when someone's talking to you, all they're really looking for is someone to say, yeah, that person's a jerk, or that was really creepy, or I'm really sorry that this happened to you. My mom, because of her open door policy, she would always take the other person's side and try to even it out. Now, guess what happens with me? I have this beautiful thing in which I love having people over. I have almost an open door policy. A girl needs her sleep, right? Especially when she wants to look good. So I have an open door policy for, you know, up until a certain time of the evening. And if it's an emergency, of course, give me a call. But what happens is that there's an extremely private side of me that I'm battling with all the time, because I do want to say, yeah, that person's a jerk, or, you know, oh, yeah, I totally see that point of view. Habit, or what I would call the karmic part, goes back, and the fallback is to take the other person's side. And so what happens is that by taking on this piece of my mom, subconsciously, I actually lose the connection that I have with the person that's talking with me. And losing is not exactly the word I want to say, but it doesn't keep the bond strong. And really, by acknowledging that person, you're not doing anything except for acknowledging that person. And I really wish my mom could have realized that. More than anything else, I think it would have brought a lot of relief to her life and the people around her, and maybe she wouldn't have had to work so hard at keeping everything even Steven right now. But, you know, that was her life and that was her choice, and that was something that I believe that she loved so much and was a part of her identity that it was worth the consequences, whatever they may be. I, on the other hand, love my kids. I want them to feel what I didn't feel, which was, you know, that even though there are two kids, each kid is number one for me, that they are loved unconditionally. I know my mom loved me unconditionally, but with a little bit of practice, I get to say to my kids, yeah, that person was a jerk, or I'm really sorry that's happening to you. And with the trust that when my daughter is a little bit healed and can calm down, that we can have that conversation that my mom was hoping to have with me or other people in their lives to go to that healing place. So I would love to talk more about this. If you would like to call in for a reading, please do. 657-383-0608. We can talk about karmic lessons and your parents, or we can talk about a relationship that's going on right now. Right now, I am honored to have a caller, Alfina from Arizona, Yahoo! And I would love to know what's going on. Alfina, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, I love to hear that. How can I help you today?
I actually have a question pertaining to love and relationships. Okay. I'm interested in someone right now, and I'm wondering if you see that going into a romantic relationship.
Okay. So for you, what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about where you are, and then about where he is, and then talk about the relationship, and consider, treat the relationship like a third person. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
Great, because and the reason I'm doing this is because you're in a really great space, and that you're willing to explore a lot of things, and that this person that can I go ahead and say his name on the air?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the thing is that you're willing to take certain risks about a relationship with Pedro that you wouldn't before. Does that make sense when I say that?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to know is that if you can take that excitement about this person and apply it to other parts of your life, what will happen is that it will round you out a little bit more, and it'll help you make your way towards Pedro. Now, this is why I'm going to tell you why. I really like him. He tends to be a little bit on the reserved side. So what that means is that he has, I won't say two personalities, but he has a public side and a private side. And you're really excited to meet the private side of him, however that may be. And it feels like intimacy, but private side of him would be very exciting. And he has, he's really well protected, meaning that he knows exactly where his cushion is of comfort before he lets you in to his private side. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are you sure? Now, is he a little bit? Is he a little bit younger than you?
Yeah, he's like 2 years or 3 years younger than me.
Yeah,
do you need his months of birth or?
Nah, not for him. For you, it's a little bit more important because I'm talking with you, and I really want to get in nice and accurate. Where with him, because he's the moving target and you're not, I don't need it as much.
Okay.
So and the reason I say is because he feels 25. He feels like he's got stuff going on. He feels like he's at a place where he's comfortable with himself, but still a little bit guarded. You know what I mean? So he still has a little bit of a public face and a little bit of a private face. He still has some insecurities he will tell nobody about, which you could, I could hear you saying everybody's got that, but it's not so true. He's got it pretty good. So here's what I think. I believe that if you don't focus on him because you're really about exploring a whole lot of options, but to keep him in your periphery, that you are going to pique his interest enough that you guys can have a romantic relationship, but because you have laser focus when you want to, that it's going to freak him out. So that's why you don't want to set your target on him. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to put both eyeballs on him, but you definitely want to keep one eyeball on him. Does that make sense when I say that?
Kind of. Like, I don't like playing games, and
I'm not
he
saying
already knows
like
how I feel about him, and we've had communication. We've actually set a date to where we're gonna actually hang out and stuff, and so that's why I'm just like wondering if this is gonna turn into a relationship or if it's just something I should leave alone.
Okay, so I'm not talking about playing games. I don't believe in playing games either. I really don't, because all that is it's a form of hiding, right? To play a game. So
yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll make it a little bit more. Let's make it practical, okay? I like that you guys are talking, but here's the thing. Like I said, you are really good at honing in on somebody. You have this great determination. So when you have like laser focus. So if you put laser focus on him, it's going to be uncomfortable for him to do that, to be underneath that scrutiny. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a bad thing. I think it's fantastic to be able to have laser focus, but because he's at a place right now where he's just starting to get comfortable with himself, it just may feel a little bit too much too soon. And I don't want that to happen for you because I know you really like him, and I like him too. So if you keep an eye on him, which means go hang out with him, have a really good time, but don't focus on the relationship or don't focus on this whole thing being a pursuit, and just kind of relax into it and explore other things, not other people, but other things. So if you're thinking about getting a new job, focus on the job more than on him, but keep in contact with him, then he'll stay comfortable because you don't have that laser focus on him, and then a relationship can happen. Because if you focus on him, it'll be too much too soon, and he'll keep you on a little bit beyond the friend zone, but not farther than the dating zone. Make sense now?
Not necessarily. Like, it's just kind of confusing. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me to focus on something else but keep in contact with him or something like that. Like, so what does that mean? Like,
so what that means? Okay, so let me. Okay, no, I totally get where you're coming from. So, so what I'm saying is, it's pretty clear you like him. He knows that, right? So you don't need to.
We pretty much made it certain to each other that we like each other. So
great. So now what I'm saying is, because of the focus that you have, you don't want to just focus on him and having a relationship with him. So how's your work? What are you doing for work?
I'm actually not working right now, and I have some things that I'm preoccupied with. I have things I need to take care of before certain things happen. So
okay. So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is you can, enjoy starting a relationship with Pedro, but don't focus on the relationship. You want to enjoy having a relationship and keep in contact with him. Do that, but really focus on the things that you need to take care of in order to go ahead and get your next job. Because by putting your focus somewhere else, it doesn't mean you're going to lose sight of the person that you like. All it means is that you're not going to put your 100% focus on him. So if you think about it, you ever done a staring contest, right? And in a staring contest, in a staring contest, people either get the giggles or something like that because they get uncomfortable, right? You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Okay, you've had a staring contest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so some people giggle because they're not used to having all that focus on them. And so if you think about having a relationship with Pedro like a staring contest, you want to look at him and have a really good time and enjoy him. You just don't want to put all your focus on him because that will make him nervous. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying date other people. I'm not saying don't call him. I'm not saying play a game and only call him every third day. All I'm saying is enjoy him, be really clear that you like him, but also be very clear that that you need to take care of this business and you got to make that business number one. Does that make sense now?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. I know it's hard, but more than anything else, the thing that here's what I'm going to say is I know you really want to have this relationship with him. I know you, and you will, but if you take my suggestions, what will happen is that the relationship will happen much healthier than it will right now. The way that you're focusing on it right now, because what will happen is there will be a chase, and the chase will be like he likes you, you like him, but your focus will be a little bit too intense for him, and so that's all I'm saying is just back off on the focus a little bit, focus on something else. And you need to do it anyway because you're in a place where it's about exploring a bunch of new things. So it's a good time for you to take care of your business and work on those things that you don't want to look at and really take care of getting your next job because, again, it's about you exploring. Once you do that, you have more to bring to the table for your relationship with Pedro, but even more importantly, it's a healthy focus that you're putting on a relationship instead of an over-focus and not taking a look at anything else. So I hope, Alfina, that is very helpful for you. And if anyone else would like to call in and talk about relationships, please feel free to do so. The phone number is 657-383-0608 and press 1 if you'd like to talk with me. Now, let's see. Where were we with moms and all these other things? Oh, we were talking about my mom and the lesson that she had given me and the struggle that I have as because of the things that I had taken on with her, which, of course, that she had gotten from her mom. So now I'm going to talk about my kids. The thing that happens with my kids is they come and they have their karmic lesson of guilt and responsibility and the open door policy, but now it's coming through a different generation lens. So what that looks like is that they end up taking care of their friends. Now, they're much healthier emotionally than I am, meaning that they have pretty good boundaries and they have a pretty good idea of who they are and what their emotions are versus that of their partners and their friends. But because of their human view, what happens is I have one daughter who will always take care of all the events. She ends up being the organizer. She makes sure that all the pieces are moving and put together just so that the parties or the events are seamless and that everybody is having a good time, that everybody is invited. So do you see where that open door policy started with my mom? And actually it was beyond that, because I remember stories of my grandparents in Indonesia and in the community that they had. But to move forward, so there's Indonesia in their community, my mom and her open door policy, me and my open door policy. except for when I need to sleep, but I'm there for you. But having a hard time telling my kids, just being there for my kids and saying, yeah, I've got your back, instead of going into fix-it mode or can you see the other person's point of view mode. Now I have kids that are healthier, which is a good thing, and now they have this really strange thing of a need, for one, to have these events done just so in order for everybody to be, taken care of in another way. And then I have another daughter who takes on her work as if it was her family. So guess what? She has open door policy for her work, and she works a lot of hours. She treats her clients in a way that is caring in such a way that it actually takes from her energy instead of that from a professional standpoint. And the way that she talks to her coworkers is also from a caring point of view, that she's also that's also taking her energy. So same message, and it's karmic, but it's got different viewpoints. So I would love to talk about this more, and I will, but we are going to go to break. Please feel free to give me a call at 657-383-0608 and press 1 if you'd like to talk with me. Happy to talk with you about any kind of relationship. Moms happen to be the subject for today as a prep for Mother's Day, but any kind of relationship, would love to talk to you about. So I will see you on the other side.
Experience the magic of Angel Heart for You, nestled in the heart of beautiful downtown Benicia, California. Embrace the aroma of scented candles, essential oils, incense, and aromatherapy products as you wander the aisles of inspirational and metaphysical books and gifts. Enjoy the positive energy vibrating in this historical site where the well-known author Jack London was once a frequent visitor. If you're in need of a smile or a hug, Angel Heart for You is the place to visit. Do you have an intention or a wish to manifest? Experience the magic of our intention tree. Email us at angelheartforyourradiochannel@gmail.com and be included in our Sacred Intention Tree ritual. Just write us your intention and we'll offer it up in fire along with those left in our store, then offer them again to the beach and water in Benicia. May angels be with you in all your comings and goings. Love, Angel Heart for You. Join us for the experience of a lifetime. Sacred Connections Sedona Retreats invites you to a powerful 3-day retreat in the beauty of the high desert. People travel from all over the world just to experience the healing vortexes in Sedona, Arizona. Through a series of mindful meditations and spiritual activities amongst the Red Rocks, let the land call you home to your higher self and source. Surrender, transform, Sedona. Sacred Connections Sedona Retreat is hosted by Angel Heart for You radio hosts Tana Newberry and Linda Grindell. Learn more at www.sacredconnectionssedona.com. Are you ready to transform your life? Are you looking for love? Are you looking to advance your career, increase prosperity, or improve your health? Feng Shui can help. Feng Shui is the ancient Chinese art of enhancing your environment by creating a more positive energy flow to help you achieve your goals. Maria McCullough is the founder of Feng Shui by Maria and author of the popular newspaper column Everyday Feng Shui, currently in 3 publications. Trained by the Western School of Feng Shui, Maria has over 15 years of experience transforming the lives of people like you in the San Francisco Bay Area. For more information, to learn about upcoming classes, and to read testimonials, log on to her website at www.fengshuibymaria.com or call 925-586-1000. to schedule your personalized 2-hour introductory home or business consultation. You too can be a satisfied customer saying, "A feng shui visit from Maria helped me get the job I always wanted." Or, after a consultation from Maria, "I found the love of my life." Be the change you want in your life. To set up your appointment, call 925-586-1430 today.
Hello, and we're back. This is Cynthia Barkevisser, your modern day mystic, and today we are talking about relationships. We're talking about relationships that are current. We are talking about relationships with our mom, and we're also talking about karmic issues that affect our relationships. I am looking forward to talking with someone about their relationships. My phone number to be reached is 657-383-0608, and press 1 if you'd like to talk with me. We were talking about this generational thing about karmic lessons, mother through daughter, and I find it really fascinating because of so many people that I see, they're so lovely and amazing, and they are looking for things that they don't really have a definition or a vocabulary to, and it's because it is something that they had gotten from their parents. Now, I love hearing this whole that's a mommy issue thing, that's a daddy issue thing. It cracks me up because it's true, but it's so cliche, and really it's just the tip of an iceberg, right? At the end of the day, it's my favorite thing is that it's all about me. So at the end of the day, it's all about you, my friends. It is all about what is that you're learning today. Is it something that is part of your spirit? The answer is probably yes. The question then is, what layer is it of your spiritual contract? And I like to say it doesn't matter because you're working on it, but it's one of those things where we're peeling back and peeling back. And then the last part is, hey, is the thing that you're working on along with your spiritual contract, is it a karmic thing? I love listening to people. I talked with this man. His name is Edward Anthony, and he's doing Tao calligraphy, and he was looking for people to practice on. So, of course, I raised my hand, and I said, I would love to learn more about Tao calligraphy. And we talked about some of the things, like what is that you'd like to improve on your life, and it was great. It was just like a regular intake form for a doctor. And as I wrote it down, and I love intake forms because if I'm feeling chatty, I can write pages on it, and there's nothing that the practitioner can do except for read it. Or I can have a very, very short intake sheet, and there's nothing that the practitioners can do about it. So it was one of those days that I did a very short. I thought, I'm just going to be really efficient. I did a very short intake form, and he could see right off the bat that what I had asked for was karmic, and it made me smile. There was a little bit of relief to it because now I'm saying, my gosh, thank goodness it's not just me. But at the same time, I know it's a little bit of a challenge because it's not me. There's a different way that I have to go about releasing it. Right now, how does that affect my relationships? Trust me, it affects plenty. Because here's the thing, I am a modern day mystic, which means I'm all about taking your spiritual work and applying it to your practical life, and which means I got to walk my talk. So whenever an emotion gets in the way or it gets bigger than the event that has happened, then I got to sit with myself and go, okay, a lot of this is human, and how am I going to go ahead and do it so that I can so that I can be that modern day mystic. All right. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to say, since we've been talking about karma and a little bit more than talking about parents, is how can you tell whether or not something is a karmic lesson or not? Okay. The first and foremost is that this is something that has no definition. So that is number one. If you are feeling that you have an anxiety, if you feel like you have a depression, if you feel like you have something that is just not equal to the situation around it, if you don't have a definition, there's a pretty good chance that it's a karmic lesson, which means that either you got it from a previous lifetime or you got it from one of your parents, which is another way of getting it from a previous lifetime, right? The second thing is if you have this thing, a certain thing that you have been working on your whole entire life, that is a really good indicator that it's a karmic lesson. Now, a lot of people go, now, come on, Cynthia, I know that there's a life lesson and there's a karmic lesson. Absolutely true. And sometimes, they're both one and the same. But a karmic lesson is something that it feels like it's so mundane, and it should be simple, it can't be corrected in the way as simply as you had anticipated. That's how you know it's a karmic lesson. All right. The other way of knowing that it's a karmic lesson is when it keeps inviting itself back into your life. So for me, a crazy thing, I've talked about this one time before, is the type of people that I keep inviting into my life. I happen to like people that are edgy in a certain way, shape, or form. That doesn't mean that you have to be cutting edge on certain things. I don't know the Andy Warhols of the art world. I don't know the top chefs that are, using crazy ingredients. I don't know those people, but I do know a lot of processes and philosophies are such that they're edgy in that way. One of my favorite people, I consider him edgy because he is a gentleman. What that means is that he dresses impeccably. He knows the difference between city shoes and town shoes. He still believes in polishing his shoes and a code of ethics that harken back to that of chivalrous times. Amazing person. And yet, if you take a look at him, you're like, I don't see any edgy. But anyway, so what I'd like to do is take this call for Ivy from Vacaville. And Ivy, what's going on? How can I help you?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Hey, so I was curious, listening to your show, if you could tell me what my spiritual contract is and what my karmic lesson or what got passed down karmically from my mom.
So you're asking me like 5 things, which I am happy to help you with. But I'm going to. The reason I'm telling you that is so that I can break it down and do one by one. All right.
Okay.
So the thing that I love about spiritual contracts is that along with spiritual contracts is this thing called a cosmic irony, and there's a reason why I'm telling you this. Is that the thing that challenges you the most is the thing that you're probably best at. The thing that you're probably best at is your spiritual contract. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
All right. So, what do you think your cosmic irony is?
I honestly have no idea.
Really? Here's the thing.
I don't.
You're so beautiful because you take two crazy things and you can put them together, right? So you can. Yeah. So I'll go back to the 6-year-old me. You can do something with silly putty and Legos, and you can create something really cool, right?
Okay.
And not only do you create something really cool, now you're going to create a binder that goes with it, like all the things and the properties that go with it and all the different things that you can do with it and that you only show one way, and then you say, now go have fun because I'm on to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So you are this beautiful soul that your thing is about the mind-body connection in a way that other people don't understand it. So if you're not doing something like yoga would be a really good practice for you, or any kind of hybrid. You are a hybrid girl. So your spiritual contract is about your mind-body connection. Now, think about this. If that's your mind-body connection, what do you think? Now, what do you think your cosmic irony is?
Bringing together the mind and body in a way that people don't understand completely yet.
Pretty much.
Maybe?
Or having two different kind of relationships, or having two different sets of friends and still not figuring out how you can blend them together because it totally makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to them. Okay? That's the cosmic irony. Or going to a friend who is completely shy and going, you know what, you totally have this. You don't have to be shy. This is your thing, right? Because you can see the two disparate things that can go together. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So you'd be a really good matchmaker once you kind of toned it down a little bit because you are so open because of your mind-body connection. Okay? Now, the thing is, here's the part that's really tough for you is that your mom had anxieties. She couldn't stand not knowing. Your mom's not so good with surprises. I'm pretty sure, right?
No, right.
Right? She can't stand it. So she has this level of control that is screaming crazy to you because control is the last thing to have if you're going to put two things together that aren't supposed to go. All right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's what you have from your mom. So what you have from your mom is, you can put two things together, but it has to be under these controlled circumstances, which is why you have a science background. Make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But a part of you is going, there's more to it than just science. So I bet you excel at science, and then you turn around and you have to do something really crazy on the other side to balance out the science side. Make sense about that? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's what's going on. So what's going on right now is there are a lot of, for you, it's your cosmic irony is not about bucking control, but setting controls. Now, remember, and I don't know crap about science. I almost swore because that's how I feel about science. But, so the thing about science is about setting controls so that you can really experience, right?
Right.
But what your mom showed you is not sets of controls. She's all about control. So if you can shift it up and take those controls and go, okay, these are not limitations, but they are let's just call them touch points, so that I can experience more things, then you'll have a better understanding of your mom. Your mom will actually have a better understanding of you because she'll see that you're at least acknowledging her control points. Do you understand what I'm saying? And she'll go, oh, thank God, at least she's paying attention to my stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then what will happen is that you'll see that your relationships are going to shift. And the reason they're going to shift is because you're going to be able to expand your relationships instead of compartmentalizing them.
So I understand intellectually what you're saying. Is there any way you could give me an example of they use a touch point that might be useful for me?
Sure. Let's see. I'll give you an example. Okay, you know that I'm about to turn 50, right?
Yeah.
And I want to have this huge blowout and just invite everybody I've ever met in my entire life. So, the people who are working at Emeryville Trader Joe's, they're going to get an invitation. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, what I'm doing is for the first time in my life, I want to bring all parts of my life together and have all those people introduce themselves to each other, right? And it's going to be chaotic. Now, for you, that sounds horrible because it's chaotic. So what you want to do is, what you would usually want to do is that you'd probably want to control and go, okay, now I want to have a work party, and then I want to have a friend party, and then I want to have a sports party. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So now just set controls. And so the setting of the controls is, okay, I'm going to a work party, and I'm going to bring a sports friend with me. And now you're introducing something new to something that's a controlled environment. Make sense?
Yeah.
And seeing what happens as the two. And then what you'll find is that you're really good at finding the relatable stuff between the two and then taking it away and then having a nice conversation with the person that you brought in. And it's almost like taking that survey afterwards, but on a friend level. And that's the difference between setting controls and having controls.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So it's really about going. So now remember, it's cosmic irony. Remember, two disparate things that you can put together. that's what you're really good at. So think mind and think body. So I will consider your work people your mind and your other friends body. So it's really important to take one friend into one group setting and then take another friend into another group setting. And the funny part is the only person that's going to be uncomfortable is you. Got it?
So my spiritual contract is all about my mind and body connection in a way, or two different things, bringing two different things together in one way or another.
Exactly, because if you think about it, that's the human experience is to have the mind and the body, and you know when I say mind and body, it's actually more like your emotions and your body, or your fun and your practical, to bring it together because you have them disconnected right now. You know, I would call them disconnected. I would call it compartmentalized, and bringing it together. And by doing these things, your creativity grows bigger, and it's the creativity that that is what is that's what it is that you need to share. Does that make sense now?
Yep. Thank you so much, Cynthia.
Thank you. I love talking with you, Ivy. You're an amazing person. I keep looking forward to that crazy disparate things that you're going to bring together. So the thing that I love about Ivy is that she's a great example of experiencing her spiritual contract and knowing that she's just one link away, and just finding out what that one link is, and that her spiritual contract is, you know, to be all that person, which is to bring all those things to her, that emotional side of her, which is amazing, and that scientific side of her, or the practical side of her, and bringing it together and seeing what can happen creatively. It's almost like mixing two elements and seeing what happens. It's a very exciting thing, and I'm really happy for her. Now, I can tell you right now that it would be a challenge for her. I don't know. I don't know if I should go too much into it, so I'll just touch upon it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's very challenging for Ivy to be in a long-lasting relationship that keeps her satisfied, because she usually picks one or the other, and because she's so used to compartmentalizing, that's where her dissatisfaction comes in. Instead of saying, "Hey, let's try all these different things," and bringing that piece out of the partner that she needs to feed, so that partner can learn new things and they get fed as well. I do want you to know that I give classes on how to do these things, and these classes are not about being Ivy specific. What they are about is taking your spiritual contract, your spiritual side with you, and applying it to your practical life. So do you need to change your job once you find out what an amazing medium you are? No. What it means is that now you can feel much more confident being a medium as you go to your job, and knowing that you can help people in medium work if you choose, and if not, that you just have this amazing talent that not everybody else has. It's not horse sense, it is your gift. Being this modern-day mystic, I believe that I'm a modern-day mystic in that I apply my intuitive work, everything I do, which is not entirely true, because I do some real estate things, and I like to get into the excitement of negotiations, and then I forget that, hey, you know, if you meditate and come from the modern-day mystic, things will go much smoother. You know, I have to admit, sometimes I'm still, maybe a little bit more than sometimes, I'm still a little bit addicted to drama and to complain about this stuff. But it's getting to be more and more that smooth and easy modern-day mystic style is quite the way to go. It's absolutely beautiful. And I get to share this beautiful experience with the buyer and the seller. So that's what I mean by being a modern-day mystic, is that taking your intuitive, spiritual stuff and applying it practically, not having to spout it off to everybody else, but just practically in a way in that you get to share your uniqueness with other people. I can also, I've also helped people out by doing one-on-ones. I have a client who is a pretty experienced and pretty well-respected realtor, and she has a challenge with her family life. And by showing how her, by paying attention to her family life, how that can expand and help her business grow is where she learns. And it's just about applying one little piece from one part of your life and seeing it in the other part of your life and going through. It's as simple as signing up, spending 15 to 20 minutes on what that challenge is, and then another 15 to 20 minutes on a strategy, or, when I say strategy, it's not thinking about, it's like a game plan on how to move forward so that you can get to the next level. Really exciting stuff. I wanted to talk a little bit more, just very quickly, about moms and how amazing they are and how much they give and how much, if you talk to any mom, and I will tell you that there is a mom club. Do not think that that there isn't such a thing. Moms who look at expectant moms, and as those expectant moms talk about what their life is going to be after their baby, watch the knowing looks between the moms as they let the mom to be talk about, what their life is going to be like. That is Mom Club. I'm telling you, it's a very special club to be in, and there's absolutely nothing like it. And moms, what I'd like you to know is because I'm a mom too, we as moms, we pass on so much more than we think. Of course, we pass on the hugs and the kisses and the Band-Aids and the ice and the comfort and saying that our kids are the greatest. But we also need to take care, because everything that we are working on, our children are working on as well. And wouldn't that be an amazing gift to be best that we can be, so that we can show our kids that not only are we amazing people, but it's really not that difficult to be the best that they can be, and that as our light shines, their light shine even brighter. That is pretty incredible, heady stuff. I love it. It makes me super excited. I hope you are all enjoying this radio show as much as I do. I get super excited every Monday and every Friday that I am on the radio show. It's my joy to talk to everyone who is really interested in taking their spiritual life in a very practical way, so that they can be 100% themselves from sun up to sundown, from when their eyes open to when their eyes close. Pretty cool stuff to me. You can find me, if you're curious, online at www.moderndaymystic.com. That's modernday-mystic.com. You can follow me on Facebook. If you have any questions, or if you feel like you're in need of some meditations, take a look at my YouTube. I have some meditations in there. They're 5-minute meditations. They will not take you to this place of karmic lessons, but they sure will make you feel a whole lot better as you go through your day. And I really wish that for you. Anything to make your load a little bit lighter, that's something I'm all over. I hope that will help you out. I love being on Facebook. Come chat me up, and let's see how we can connect. Being friends is an amazing thing. It always cracks me up when they say you want to be friends on Facebook. Who doesn't want to be friends, right? I had an amazing week. I hope that you had an amazing week as well. Please remember to do something very kind over the weekend, especially on Mother's Day. If you're a mom, please be especially nice to yourself. If you have a mom, please acknowledge that person, whether it's your biological mother or someone else. I made sure to have lunch with my Swami Mommy, and trust me, as soon as I'm done with this radio show, I'm going to give her a call again to tell her how important she is in my life. And I hope that you do the same as well. I will be back on Monday, and we're going to shift up. We're going to be talking about the practicalities of being a modern day mystic, and how we can see things, inner vision versus outer vision, and how the two are equally important, as well as how you can use your outer vision to help your inner vision, and how your inner vision can give you a lot of knowledge to the people around you as well as to yourself. Okay? What else is there to talk about? So many things. Please go and visit Angel Heart for You. I don't believe I'll be there this weekend. Oh, they are going to be having an open house in July. It's going to be a blowout. Please take a look at their calendar and mark it on yours, so that you can just see all the amazing people out there. A lot of the people from this radio show will be there. that would be, Linda Grindle. If you've not spent 5 minutes with her, you have not really laughed in your life, because she is just that funny. Cher is one of the sweetest people I've ever met, and just having her take a look at me makes me feel a whole lot calmer. And Miranda, well, all I can tell you is that all she has to do is laugh and give me that million-watt smile, and I feel a whole lot happier. We are going to be broadcasting live that day on the open house, which is super exciting, because who doesn't like being on radio? I know I do. I want to thank you all so much for being a part of this radio show. It is an incredible thing. Please feel free to listen to me again on Monday. Oh, and that reminds me that we do have podcasts. So go back to Angel Heart For You radio channel. Take a look at us through our podcast. There's always something to learn. If you feel like you're missing us, because I know you do, take a quick listen to a podcast and get to know us a little better through that. I also encourage you to visit my YouTube channel, because I do have videos on how to do moving meditations, as well as MP3s of listening meditation. I am happy to talk to you about the Tao calligraphy that I just touched upon today, as well to talk more about my Swami Mommy, Connie Jackson, who taught me how to do this work, as well as just be a loving soul. Please have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye.